Mr. Ortego,
Yes, ma'am.
would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name's Conley Ortego. My DOC number is it's 517-595.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me introduce us to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza. This is Mr. Alvin Roche. This is Mrs. Bonnie Jackson. We're your parole panel today. Let me just read some identifying information. Mr. Ortego, you're classified as a fourth felony offender. You are currently serving a 5-year sentence. You were sentenced in Beauregard Parish on June 5th, 2020 for second-degree battery. You have a parole eligibility date, which was October 3rd, 2023. You don't earn good time, so your full-term date is January 3rd, 2025. Does all that sound right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, as I mentioned, you're a fourth felony offender, but when I look at your record, I'm very concerned about your violent history. And let me just go over what I saw in the record. In 1993, Lafayette Sheriff's Office, aggravated battery. 2000, second-degree battery in Jeff Davis. 2005, aggravated battery and battery of a police officer in Calcasieu. 2006, sexual battery in Jefferson Davis. 2011, sexual assault in Eunice, or simple assault, excuse me. 2012, domestic abuse battery. 2016, failure to register as a sex offender, St. Landry. 2017, theft, possession of Schedule 2 and Schedule 4, that was in Eunice. 2017, failure to register again. 2017, battery of a dating partner in Eunice. 2019, domestic abuse battery. And now we have this 2020 episode of second-degree battery and violation of a protective order. Is anything that I read in that record incorrect?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So tell us why all the violence.
Just alcohol, right? Yes, ma'am.
Alcohol did that?
Yes, ma'am.
How? You did that. You did all this. The alcohol didn't do it. So tell us about your alcohol issues.
I just was raised in a family that drank alcohol, and I just give it all up, though.
When? Since you've been in jail this time?
Well, it's probably been about 5 years ago.
But this incident happened in 2020, didn't it? When did it happen? 2019.
Yeah.
So were you drinking then?
Yes, ma'am.
So about 4 years ago. What made you give it up?
Family problems.
So the family made you give it up?
Yes, ma'am.
So how did they manage to do that?
I just I've been working in the oil field, and I just quit drinking, really.
So let's see, you got out of jail in March of 2019. You released from LaSalle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You released from LaSalle, and then this happened shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And so during that time, you were drinking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? What were you drinking? What did you drink?
I drink bourbon.
Any drugs?
No, ma'am. No drugs.
Just the bourbon.
Yes.
A lot of it.
Yeah, at one time, yeah, it was just casual, but it turned real serious. You know, it's bottles. You know.
So you're drinking all day, I think, in 2019?
Well, no, not when I was at work, I wouldn't drink. It was when I would get off of work.
So you worked in the oil field, and so you worked so many days on and so many days off. Is that how that worked?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many days were you at work?
I was at work 4 days. I was off 2 days.
So you
I
were
worked
on 4 and off 2. So for the 2 days you were off, you stayed drunk.
Well, not a real drunk, but it was a problem. It was a problem. It was getting out of hand. Yeah.
So have you ever had any formal treatment?
I went to some celebrating recovery classes.
When
I
did you
sent-
do that?
I did that over here in DeQuincy.
In DeQuincy?
Yes, ma'am.
So where do they do that at? They're in the jail?
Yes, ma'am.
So you say you went to some classes. What did you learn from the classes that you did go to?
Well, it was to get my sober, like to be sober, and it was to stay away from wrong crowd and just stuff like that.
You ever been to any AA meetings?
Yes, ma'am. In the past, yes,
When?
that was probably about 8 years ago.
How often did you go when you were going to AA meetings?
I would go every I had community service and AA classes, so I had
So
to
you
go.
went because the court required you to go, not because you chose to go.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's different. So let's talk about what happened and why you're in jail. What did you do?
Second-degree battery charge. I was drinking.
What did you do?
Well, we got. I was at the rig. My wife come pick me up, and we went home, and we got in a fight. Yeah.
So what is your wife's name? What at the time, what was your wife's name?
Selena Fontenot.
But there was a protective order in place.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So why were y'all even around each other?
He picked me up at the all rig. I was in Texas or in Starks, and she came pick me up over there.
And so what did you do to her?
Got in a fight.
What did you do to her?
We basically got in a fight.
I know. What did you do to her?
Slapped her and yes, ma'am.
You threatened to kill her?
Oh, ma'am, I didn't.
Why'd you kick in the back door?
I didn't kick the back door in. I did. I was. All the charges right there got dropped. She said I did all that, but I did not do that. I did. She brought.
Beat her in the head.
Fell against the car and stuff. I didn't beat her in the head. I didn't.
Why did she have to be airmatted out?
We got in a physical fight, and then the cops got there and everything, and she left. Yeah.
I don't think you've really reconciled with what happened that day, that particular day. And then I'm looking at all these other assaults and batteries that are really, really concerning to me. What level of school did you complete, sir?
10th grade.
Did you ever try to get your GED? Why not? That wasn't important to you?
I was in the oil field, and
So you already had a good job. You didn't think you needed it, making good money? Okay.
right.
I think it's important, though. I think it's really important for you to you have any children?
Yeah, I have 4 kids. Yeah. Yes,
How old
ma'am.
are they?
I got 2 left. 2 of deceased. I got 2 daughters, 28 and 26.
Do you have any contact with the daughters?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good. You know, there's opposition. We're going to hear from the DA's office in a moment. The sentencing judge is opposed to any consideration for early release. Law enforcement is opposed to any consideration. We did get some input from a brother Jackson from the church there in DeQuincy. He was advocating for your parole hearing, so I wanted you to know that. why do you think, given the record and everything I've just said, why do you think we ought to grant general?
I did my time, and I just feeling better about myself, and I've been around a lot of good people. Um, I think I did my time, and I don't really, I always been a good guy, other than getting in trouble like with back to back to back. But I've been around. I'm just gonna take it's all me but I learned. I'm 50 years old now. I don't need nobody to, I just, I just want to get out and be home with my family. And I learned from all this, because 4 years ain't short. And I just want to be home. It's just,
How you gonna stay out of jail? You seem to have a problem with women.
I'm just gonna stay away from all the, and just into myself, and
How you gonna stay sober?
I ain't drinking no more. I'm 50 years old. I learned from, I ain't getting no younger.
Who drinks? You just said. So everywhere you go, people will go be drinking. How you not gonna drink?
I'll go to a class, or, it's to help myself, I mean, I'm just ain't gonna drink.
Yeah, but you said that before. Well, I guess the court made you go. I don't have any other questions. Let me ask Warden Tarver, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Ortego?
Well, I've been the warden now for about 3 years, kind of come off of patrol to take this job. The little time that I've known Ortego, and this is just from observing him, I've watched him when he didn't think I was watching. I listen to his phone calls. I monitor the phone calls and stuff in here. I hear everything you just said. I didn't see any of that in him. Maybe I was fooled, but what little bit he's been around me, like I said, when he didn't even think I was listening or watching, I seen a pretty good man.
Well,
I was
good.
shocked when you read that off in a way. I didn't know none of that. Maybe I should myself look into things a little bit more. But like I said, I haven't had this job that long. He was already here when I took over as warden.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us, particularly about observing him when he didn't know you were looking. So I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, ma'am.
Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Could we hear from the DA's office? I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you early on, but welcome, and we'd like to hear what you want to say about Mr. Ortego.
Thank you, Chairman Renatza, and members of the board. I'm Jimmy Lestage. I'm the district attorney in Beauregard Parish. I'm here for the victim. She is currently in the hospital on hospice care and cannot appear, but she did prepare a written statement to your victim's coordinator. I think you have that. I'd encourage you to review that. I want to point out, as you stated, he is a violent criminal with a long criminal history and a registered sex offender. I believe he presents a danger, not only continuing danger to Ms. Fontenot, but he presents a danger to anyone else that he's around at this time. The DOC records that I've been able to review do not indicate that he's received any kind of programming to help himself stay out of a situation like this and keep himself out of the Department of Corrections. So I would certainly encourage him to participate in anything that may be available as far as anger management and or decisions or whatever the DOC may offer. So I do not agree that he has done his time and he's ready to be released. I believe that's also the feeling that Ms. Fontenot has, and she stated in her statement. She spent 30 days in the hospital after this event. And I think you're privy to the color photographs from the file. Have you seen those? Okay, I'm not going to put those on the screen then, but they are not minor. They show severe violence. And I don't know if he's downplaying the severity of the issue or if he just does not realize that he almost beat this woman to death. So with that said, we are opposed. The sheriff is opposed. The judge is opposed. And again, the victim is who we're here for today, and she's not able to appear. And part of that is because of the broken hip she received in this incident. So she is hospitalized and homebound, I believe, on hospice care. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lesage. We appreciate you being here today. Mr. Ortego, before we vote, is there something you'd like to say to us, the board?
Well,
All right, so I think we're ready to vote. I'll be voting first. Mr. Ortego, you heard about the extent of the damage that Ms. Fontenot sustained and her ongoing medical issues. I agree with the district attorney. You say you've done your time. You hadn't. You got a 5-year sentence. You just happened to be before us today because of the law says you're eligible for parole. I don't see that I'm proud to hear what the warden has said about you, but based on your criminal history, your violent criminal history, and the lack of programs to address those issues, my vote today is to deny your parole. Mr. Roche.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Ortego, based upon an extensive criminal history, a history of violence, the entire legal community is strongly opposed victim opposition, and you do need a long-term substance abuse program. Hopefully, you can get enrolled in that before release, but at this time, I'm going to deny your request.
Mrs. Jackson.
My vote is to deny for the same reasons as my colleagues. And I would just like to make sure you understand, Ms. Ortego, that beating a woman is not being in a fight. Okay? So if that's how you view the situation, then you've got a lot to learn. Beating a woman up is not the same thing as y'all being in a fight. That's it.
All right, Mr. Ortego, you've received a unanimous vote to deny your parole today. It's been denied. Warden Tarver, thank you so much for accommodating us. Thanks for your input. We're going to sign off from the Quincy City Jail at 10:47.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.